Francis, how has your week at the show been going so far?
Pretty quiet so far, Sarah, but the young horses have been jumping well and a couple of them are qualified for the finals, so that's what we planned for.
Okay, and what can you tell us about the horses that you had jumping in this class this evening?
This evening I had Cavan Sarah Curran. She won the Grand Prix here last year and she was a little bit keen tonight. We jumped quite a good round, but quite happy nearly that she had a fence down because there's so many in the jump off.
Absolutely. And the other horse?
Hera Cross then had a silly fence down, the triple bar, and it was probably going to be a little bit tight to get inside the time anyway, but jumped very well.
Francis, just want to speak to you in relation to your past in the sport, and how has the sport changed for you over the years? The courses, the horses that you need to jump the courses. How your opinion on, I suppose, the horses and the courses?
Well, I think the courses have changed a lot. The material is much lighter now than when I started off. And I think myself and Con Power had this conversation a few weeks ago. Probably at the end of the day, if you had the horses that we had back then, they probably would have been equally as good now. Even just because the material was heavier, we probably rode them different. You were able to attack the fences. But no, nowadays they just have to be so careful because the material is so light.
And horses such as Diamond Express, Spring Elegance, that you had such success on around these courses, do you think they would be absolutely suited as they were back then? Just the training would be different.
The training would be different, and because if we were starting as young horses with this same material, I think they would have been equally as good. It's hard to say, but I mean that would be my feeling about it. And again, they were, I suppose, in a different era, and the fences, you had to attack the fences so much more, but it's hard to know.
And with them horses, what is your most memorable experience?
I suppose Diamond Express would still be my favourite because he put me on the map and gave me the confidence to jump bigger classes, and he was just incredible. He won classes everywhere he went. I mean, he was just so brilliant around Hickstead.
Is there any of the classes that stand out?
There were probably so many with him. Hickstead, he was just so brilliant around there. Every show he went to, he won one of the speed derbies. And he was still good enough to win a Grand Prix at a show in Germany. He was placed in the Dublin Grand Prix. It's just incredible.
One in a million of a horse, exactly. Yeah. We all want one of those.
Winner, yeah.
Francis, in relation to the horses now, the young horses that you have coming up, what is your training regime with them and setting goals for the likes of a 4-year-old, the likes of a 5-year-old going into Dublin, the Irish sport horse classes? What way do you produce them?
Well, I think we probably have a little bit too much emphasis on the likes of the 4-year-old class, because it's doing, it's forcing people to break them earlier, start to produce, start to go to shows earlier. And if you think back to a lot of the older people, they wouldn't do anything really until they were 5. They would get their 4-year-olds going, get them around a few shows so they understand and know what it was all about. But after that, so sometimes I think there's a little bit too much emphasis. I like to produce the 4-year-olds. I have had them at the qualifiers. I do have them in Dublin, but I would do very few shows. Would try and do as little as possible. And when they're 5, then they can start to work a little bit harder.
And in terms of the Irish sport horse classes, the Irish horse sport, the horse classes, how do you feel about them? Are they a brilliant way to produce the Irish horses?
I think they've been a great boost because of in particular the amount of prize money. If you have a nice 5-year-old and you jump your double clears, you're getting well paid for jumping them. Probably the 6 and 7s, even though this year they did do the 6-year-olds with double clears, which was a good idea, because other than that it's quite difficult to get into the first 6 to get a prize in them, and you can find it quite hard work.
Yeah.
But they are a great asset to the sport at the moment.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely brilliant. And whenever you're being abroad and comparing the Irish sport horse to the foreign horses, what do you prefer, and where do you look for you know, what do you look for the talent in the horse?
Well, for me, I try to keep as much Irish as I can, but it's quite difficult now because there's quite a big mixture of the foreign breed in the Irish horse now. But I think at the end of the day, what you want is a horse that's saleable. Yeah. That's easy enough to ride, that you can produce, that almost you can put anyone up on, and they can jump a fence. Yeah. And that's, at the end of the day, that's what we all want. So everybody wants a superstar, but they don't come by every day.
Yeah, no problem. And in terms of going forward in the future, I suppose for us young riders, you know, what you setting goals? Where do you set your goals? And you know, for young riders, what would you encourage them to set goals, short term and long term as well?
Yeah, I would. I think a lot of the time, maybe a lot of the younger riders probably try too hard. Yeah. And I think you have to, you know, just think about it. Somehow, it's not easy. It's not an easy sport because most of the young riders are thrown in with the senior riders, and it isn't easy. And my God, some of them are so competitive now. It is. They are. Fantastic. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. So you have to try and just be confident about what you're doing. Yeah. And I mean, there are always going to be things that go wrong. It happens with everyone. Yeah. But keep the head up and keep going.
And just we'll finish off here. And what's your goal for going into 2013?
For 2013, a few nice young horses that I hope to be able to produce to jump in the National Grand Prix next year, and after that, then hopefully there'll be a few nice younger ones come along. Yeah. And again, probably much the same, the horse board classes and all the qualifiers for Dublin. Yeah. And at the moment, don't have a real superstar to travel away. So at the minute, would that be something you would like to, you know, do in the next coming years? Again, it doesn't bother me. Yeah. If you have the horse, at the moment you need more than one top class horse to travel because it's so expensive. So I enjoy producing them, and hopefully they get sold on and someone else gets the benefit.